This Russia scandal, is it, in broader terms, kind of holding back the Republican Party's policy agenda, including, well, a number of things: health care and taxes, possibly a plan to repeal Dodd-Frank? For more on all of this, Republican Congressman Andy Barr of Kentucky joins us. He sits on the House Financial Services Committee. I want to talk to you, Congressman Barr, about Dodd-Frank in a moment. I don't know if you've had a chance to look over the prepared remarks, though, from Director Comey. We obviously have. It's interesting reading. You could get to a point where maybe some inappropriate conversations were had. Are we at a point, though, where there was a crime committed, obstruction of justice? Do you have a view?
Well, look, I'm not on any of the committees of jurisdiction investigating this, but I have great confidence in my colleagues who serve on those committees. I think it's altogether appropriate that these investigations go forward, and I have confidence in both the House and Senate Intelligence Committee's investigations and the career professionals at the FBI doing the investigation, and now the special counsel Robert Mueller, who is investigating this. And it's reasonable to expect members of Congress to have legitimate questions about the timing of the firing. But look, this investigation, when you look at it from the grand scheme of things, it shifted. At first, the target of the investigation was whether or not the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians. No evidence of that. Even the Democrat ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee and former members of the Obama administration said no evidence of collusion. And so it shifted. And then it was looking at whether or not the FBI requested resources from the Justice Department ahead of Comey's firing. That turned out to be not the case. The number 2 at Justice, Rod Rosenstein, briefed Congress, said that no, in fact, he wrote the memo recommending that Mr. Comey be fired. He was confirmed by the Senate on a bipartisan basis, 94-6. Mr. Rosenstein also served in the Obama Justice Department as a U.S. attorney, and he told members of Congress he wrote the memo. It was his recommendation. He shared it with Ethics Council at Justice. They all signed off on it, and so that didn't pan out. So now the investigation has shifted.
No, I understand your point, and to kind of elaborate on that a little bit. We learned in the Comey prepared testimony that it was confirmed that there's no personal investigation of the president, or there wasn't, by the FBI director or the FBI, which he was then overseeing. That said, there is, according to the president's own words, as reported by Director Comey, a kind of a cloud hanging over his administration because of all of this, all of what you and I have been talking about, that has made it difficult for him to get things done, right? Now, I know tomorrow you're supposed to be working on this Dodd-Frank repeal, maybe even get a vote on that. There are other things. There are taxes. There's health care. How difficult is it to right now get things done? How much has the Republican agenda been set back by this?
Well, Connell, it's a good question, but I will just tell you from my perspective, from this one member of Congress's perspective, it's not holding us back at all. In fact, we're moving full speed ahead. We passed health care reform to replace Obamacare. It's over in the Senate now. None of this outside distractions has held us up at all. Why? Because our constituents back home are telling us we need relief. We need relief from increasing premiums. We need relief from Obamacare, which is denying the American people choices. Understood,
Congressman, but that may get held up in the Senate, right? It may not go anywhere over there. I know that's not your jurisdiction, but the point is,
Well, big win yesterday from the standpoint of the Senate parliamentarian saying that this is a bill that will only require 51 votes in the Senate, not 60 votes. And House members, we were very cognizant of Senate rules when we crafted this legislation, and we did it through the reconciliation process. So now the Senate has the capacity to send us back an Obamacare replacement that will provide relief for the American people. And that's also important to advance our agenda on tax reform, because this legislation will lower our baseline, allow us, give us a head start into comprehensive tax reform. We're not slowing down on that agenda. It's really important that we make America more competitive by lowering that corporate tax rate.
And you can get that done even if maybe get rid of that August recess. I heard some speculation about that today, that maybe you guys won't go on recess. Is that?
My personal opinion, we should work until we get all of this agenda done. Because here's the bottom line. The American people sent us up here. The election of last year was a repudiation of the policies of the last 8.